For just the third time in history, the men's championship is defended in a triple threat main event as Daniel Bryan and Edge challenge Roman Reigns. Rhea challenges Asuka, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn meet on the biggest stage of their career, and Alexa Bliss wears a crown of goo. It's time for an incredible night two of WrestleMania 37 as we rewind the Bloodline. We are in the second half of part 25 of our Bloodline saga. If you are new here, we have started at the beginning of 2020 with this Bloodline story, and we are celebrating WrestleMania by doing the full show review. Please acknowledge us. Go back on the channel and check out all the other uploads and keep coming back every week as we go through this entire Bloodline history. So, Goose, I myself, along with several other listeners, we have had this circled in our calendar for weeks. And now that I've seen it, you've seen it, I cannot wait to talk about this. So get us kicked off.
But we are at WrestleMania 37, Night 2, Sunday, April 11th, 2021, coming to you from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida. And we start with America the Beautiful by Ashlyn Kraft.
Never heard.
Don't know Ashlyn Kraft, but the weird thing is while she's singing, they show all the wrestlers standing there as if they're listening to her. They have the graphic that it was last night.
Yeah.
So why even do that?
Lazy Kevin Dunn booking right there.
I suppose, like, either A, bring them back out, or B, just show the crowd.
Right.
What are we doing? Last night, everybody's standing there. Poor Ashlyn Kraft.
Well, the weird thing too is, like, isn't there a bigger crowd for night two?
It's the same crowd. However, the vibe is much different. And here's the difference, John. There's no rain delay.
You know what, that too.
I mean, it's that. So it feels bigger, but there's also not people hiding in the corridors at the start of the show.
Yeah, that makes a good point, which if you want to hear about the rain delay, you can go back to last week's episode. We talk about that in depth, especially with Samoa Joe and Michael Cole and those ponchos.
Poncho Joe.
So we get some huge pyro, and just like what Mongoose said, there is no rain. We get the same video intro that we got last night.
Two times. We got it 2 times on night 1.
Yes, so we've got it 3 times in 24 hours. So, except this time is a little bit different, though. We do get clips from last night, so I did like that, but we get the same history of history deal. I cringe every time I hear that. I hated it. I thought we were going to do a full retread of the intro, and they didn't disappoint. Like we just said, something is different about this crowd. They are much louder immediately, and I think it plays into exactly what you said. We don't have a rain delay, but this crowd was in it from the start.
And we were at WrestleMania 40. Night 2 is different than night 1.
Yeah, I was at 39.
Cool. You were at 39.
And night 1 is so much different than night 2, dude. Night 2, walking into the building, just the day itself just feels significantly different.
What's crazy is this is the first one with crowds.
Yeah.
And so obviously, and again, there's no rain delay, there's all that, but you could feel it. This really felt big. So the big voice comes in.
WrestleMania.
And then 13 months worth of pyro budget goes into the introduction here. And you nailed it, brother. Just, this is different. The crowd's hotter. This feels like mania.
Yes, it does. And we get our hosts of WrestleMania. They come back out at Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan. They are in full pirate get-ups. I exploded when they came out through there. They were in the full get-ups.
Had to be so sweaty.
Oh, it had to be so bad. They are still showing Hulk fans in the crowd. There are Hulk shirts out there. So you know that this is 4 years ago, but this is the first time that you can clearly hear Hulk is getting booed. And it felt like every time you went to say something, he got booed.
Louder. Yeah, you got that right.
So Titus gives the
Ahoy, matey!
and Hogan gives us
Yo, brothers!
I wouldn't have booed that. He'd have won me over, dude. That I just said, yeah, okay.
So we have 7 matches tonight, 5 of which are title matches. So we need to batten down the hatches. We get a really awkward R off, and Cole and Brian and Joe are in the booth.
Yeah, so our first match of the night is Randy Orton versus The Fiend. Randy Orton comes out first, and all I could think of is, dude, if he only knew how much larger he would be in just 4 years' time.
Dude, how much gas is he on in 4 years?
Right. Yeah. Hey, Randy, you're going to be more ripped and 40 pounds heavier so soon. I can't wait for you to see it, dude. So Green Shirt Guy is back for night 2. And while he comes out and does his whole deal, Mrs. Mongoose called this the, quote, slowest, sleepiest entrance ever, end quote. And I liked it so much that I wrote it down.
I don't disagree. This is like whenever he was really acting like a snake and just slithering to the ring. I hated it. I wish, like, just get to the ring, Randy. We get it. But the promo package for this shows Randy burning the Fiend to a crisp. We talked about that back at Fastlane. I know I'm going to get internet hate for this, and that's totally fine. But the Fiend sucks. You can fight me. I don't care. But listen, the swamp gimmick and the Fireflies Bray, that is excellent. I love that Bray. But the Fiend sucked, and you can get mad all you want about it. You can roast me in the comments. I don't care, but I hate the Fiend. I hate it.
Tell him in the comments how much you don't like him. But seriously, here's the problem. The Fiend is a great character, but it's a terrible wrestler. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it sells merch. It's cool. All these things. But once the bell rings, it's a nightmare, dude. And especially juxtaposing this very real, very human main event tonight, the very real, very human main event the night before, where you had Bianca climb this mountain and this great story, to have all of this spooky. It don't work, man.
It doesn't.
It don't work.
No, it's too far outside the box.
So Alexa comes out with this outfit, white eyes, all this.
Yeah.
I do need to say, though, him walking and turning from burnt to unburnt was very corny, but my 8-year-old thought this was the coolest thing, man.
I loved it. I thought that visually itself was awesome.
So Alexa comes out. There's a big box. She does the Little Rascals He-Man Woman Hater club sign wave there, and she's teasing turning the crank. So Alexa then gives this crank the biggest turn you've ever seen. Pop Goes the Weasel plays. And this is where I will give him props. The best WWE entrance song of this era, and I will stand by that, starts to play. His entrance music is awesome.
Okay, I will agree with you on that. The entrance, the presentation is great. The in-ring product is awful. And I'll say it here later. We'll get to it, but it's really campy again, but the visuals have been really good. I don't hate that. I just hate everything that happens once the bell rings.
So speaking of, the Fiend raises out of a box, unburnt. He is delirious.
Yes.
He is delirious Fiend right now. Poor Randy, dude. He has to sell it with his facials. Even my daughter said, Randy looks scared. And I'm thinking, this poor fella, man.
Yeah.
At least he's going to be 40 pounds heavier soon. So the Fiend does a diving clothesline off the top. We get the red light coming, and we are now in Hades, dude. Fiend breaks his neck right away. Orton throws Fiend into a table. Fiend no-sells it, throws on a mandible claw. Randy gets out. He hits Fiend with a draping DDT. Fiend no-sells that, goes for an RKO. Randy throws Fiend face first into the Riddle box or whatever that is. We get several more minutes of Fiend no-selling. He gets on offense, gets cut off, and then no-sells again. Fiend goes for Sister Abigail, kisses Randy Orton, flames hit the ring post, and then Alexa is sitting crisscross applesauce on top of the Riddle box with black goo spilling all over her face. The Fiend extends a hand to her and then eats an RKO and is pinned clean. They stare at each other awkwardly. Everything goes black. The lights come on and they're disappeared. I'll give it a half star. And it's just because there were some cool moves. I hated everything except the jump off of the box. That everything after that, I hated. John, what were your thoughts?
I'll agree with you. I love the jump off the box. That was really cool. I hate that red light. Get it out of my life. Also, the other thing that we need to get rid of is the stupid neck break spot. We are not decapitating people. We're not killing people. We're wrestling people. I don't understand that move. I hate that he no-selled the vintage Orton DDT. He no-sells too many things. That's what I hate about the Fiend character. Is Alexa Bliss, is she Sister Abigail? I don't understand why she was sitting on the box like that. And I genuinely couldn't believe that Randy pinned him clean in the middle. I gave it a half a star.
Yeah, well, Meltzer gave it a -1. So we apparently were too nice here.
Yeah.
But this was real wrestle crap, man. And we knew it was coming. And I knew it was coming. And I was surprised at how bad it was. And I'll tell you what, dude, I feel like it loses 2 stars of quality just by the red light. That red light is a killer.
It is awful. I totally agree with you. So we go backstage with the Pirates and Eric Bischoff, and I couldn't believe how much they were putting over 83 Weeks pod. Now, Bailey does come in and interrupt, and we get the Ding Dong Hello versus the 83 Weeks. And as far as we're concerned here, Ding Dong Hello is greater than 83 Weeks.
We're with you, Bailey.
So we get Daniel Bryan shadow boxing, and Cole teases it could be his final opportunity at a WrestleMania moment. And this is one thing that I think is really lacking in this WrestleMania. We're not getting the backstage interactions. We're not promoting the main event. This is the first time that they have mentioned the main event over 2 nights so far. I'm genuinely surprised by that.
Yeah, you're right. And the crazy thing is both nights had a big time main event, but I guess what it comes down to is they had 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and they had 7 matches and they wanted everything to have time. So,
yeah,
forgivable there. Also, no crowds, first time with crowds in a while. So there is all of that. But we now go to Natty and Tamina versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler.
So Natty and Tamina, they won the previous night to get this championship match. And I'm going to tell you what, if they start with the we're not living off the past gimmick again, I'm going to get really angry.
Yeah, well, they don't, to our surprise. So Natty and Shayna start off with some chain wrestling, some rope running. Nia comes in. She calls in Tamina. Tamina gets the tag. She actually gets a really nice pop. And then there are Tamina chants.
I know.
We get dueling headbutts, dude. Natty comes in. They hit a double team back body drop to Nia and then double team suplex Shayna onto Nia. Natty and Tamina are now working over Shayna. They hit a catapult into a super kick. That was an awesome spot. Shayna then unloads on Natty with strikes and literally knees her face off. When Shayna connected with this knee, dude, I gasped audibly.
Yes, it looked brutal.
Absolutely. I couldn't believe that she wasn't just broken somewhere.
I agree.
So we get a long heat segment on Natty. They're working over her leg. Natty makes her own comeback, hits a discus layer to Nia for 2. Nia then gives Natty a huge power bomb. Tamina comes in for the save.
Make a tag. The tag is now made.
They then somehow missed the hot tag twice. It was so bad, dude. It was right there. The worst part is nobody's pulling Natty's leg or anything, right? They just straight up missed it. The way that you would try to celebrate with your boss and your boss doesn't know how to high five. Yes. That's what this was, dude. It was very weird.
It was awkward.
So then Tamina does get in. She runs wild, hits a Samoan drop. Nia gets a double cross body onto the baby faces from the second rope for 2 near falls. We get Tamina chance again. She's like this cult baby face. And after teasing it all night, she finally slams Nia, but barely.
Tamina misses the huge superfly splash. She gets the hot tag to Natty. Natty trying to get Nia in the sharpshooter. The ref is screaming at her that Shayna is the legal man and not Nia. Shayna runs in, chokes Natty out. So we have back-to-back nights of the baby faces passing out to a heel submission. I didn't like that, but I gave it 2 stars.
Now, I thought this was way better than I thought it would be. Really, like coming in, I was like, I sort of rolled my eyes at what this match was. Credit where it's due. Tamina was very over. Layout was great. I gave this one 3 because I felt that this match felt like a WrestleMania match. They don't all need to be 4-star classics. And this one felt like a championship match, dude. And I thought that it was really well done. Meltzer gave it 2.25. I thought that it belonged on the card. I'm going higher than Dave. Dave went higher than you. And that's why we all have our own opinions, right?
Yes. But my biggest takeaway from this here is that Tamina was so over, and I was genuinely happy for that. But
in trouble, and now Baszler with a careful clutch. Remember,
Natty's screaming and selling is like nails on a chalkboard for me. Like, she's almost in too much peril all the time, and it drives me nuts at her screaming. I can't handle it.
I understand, because that was how I felt the previous night with Billy Kay and Carmella being in the ring at the same time. It was the same deal.
Yeah.
Their work isn't terrible, but the selling just drives me nuts. So I understand what you're saying.
So we move into Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and this promo package was a WrestleMania promo package, man. This was great. It ran through the entire conspiracy storyline. It sprinkled in some Logan Paul. Can you believe this dude just wrestled for the world title a few days ago?
He's a fish out of water here. That's what's crazy about it. It's not like he was born into this.
No. And JBL is on the guest call, and who better to join us on commentary for a conspiracy angle?
Yeah, you got it. So Sami comes out bopping and stomping, and he actually gets a huge babyface pop. He grabs the microphone and introduces his special guest of honor, Logan Paul. And Logan Paul is booed way worse than Sami here. And then Kevin Owens' music hits and the crowd goes nuts.
KO just starts on fire, and Sami is a total bump machine. KO hits a cannonball in the corner, goes for the top rope. Sami gets up, they battle on the apron, and Sami hits KO with a brain buster on the apron, which we all know is the hardest part of the ring.
Absolutely.
I love the tease of Sami getting powerbombed on the apron, because if you follow these guys and you follow their story long enough, you know that that's the way that Owens turned on Sami at NXT, and he did that about 100 times.
Yeah, nice little callback.
So later on, Sami is getting heat, and him just showing off for Logan Paul makes me so happy. And Sami then hits a Michinoku driver, and Cole calls it a Blue Thunder Bomb.
that was a Michinoku driver. Cole, I'm going to save you from the internet tonight. Thank you very much.
Brutal, just brutal. Cole was so sure the way he called it, and Graves immediately cut his legs off. Rightfully so, thank God.
The two trade hands on top. KO hits Sami with a frog splash for 2, and then Sami hits with a brutal Adam Cole neckbreaker to the knee. Sami hits the exploder into the corner, misses a haluva kick. KO misses the stunner, and then Sami now hits the Blue Thunder Bomb.
For real.
Sami hits a few exploders and then another brainbuster, and KO kicks out again. And rightfully so, there are "This is awesome" chants, because this was awesome. KO then hits a fisherman buster from the second rope. Sami hits a haluva kick. He goes for a second, but KO cuts him off with a pair of super kicks, hits the stunner, gets the win. And what did you think about this match, Goose?
This was awesome. Freaking awesome, man. But what else do you expect? Seriously, from these two guys on WrestleMania for the first time against each other. I gave this one 4.25. What say you, John?
I loved this match. I gave it 4.5. This was perfect. This was Mania level payoff. It was excellent. And Dave gave it 3.25 in the Observer. So I'm a little mad at Dave for that. I think this is 4 stars easily.
This is also the era where AEW is churning out all these crazy hot, like Ray Phoenix and stuff matches on TV. So this is slightly jaded Dave, maybe.
Yeah. After the match, Logan turns on Sami and he gets booed like crazy. And these fans wanted the stunner so bad. And the biggest pop for the night by far was Logan Paul getting stunned. That was incredible.
Yeah, perfect ending. And I was scared it wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Like, he's looking at Logan and I'm thinking, dude, if it's not in the plan, do it.
Yes.
And they did it. And Logan Paul sold it great. He even he came out holding his head, like doing that stuff was all really good. Mm-hmm. So Riddle then scooters in to congratulate Great Khali on being inducted to the Hall of Fame. He then plugs RVD rolling papers. We are in a different world in 2021, dude.
Dude, I couldn't believe that. When he pulled them out of his pocket, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And now we got TKO, so everything's sponsored by Dude Wipes. So, so we go from rolling papers to Dude Wipes. So our next match is Sheamus versus Riddle.
And Sheamus was a huge baby face for me, beating Riddle with his scooter in the promo package.
Oh, for sure, dude. So Sheamus starts off hot. Riddle starts his comeback, just laying in strikes, and then Sheamus fires back. These two continue to beat on each other. Sheamus's chest is all pink. Riddle gets an arm bar in the ropes for a 4 count. Sheamus then gives him the 10 beats, but it's really 8 beats because he got cut off. Riddle then hits an awesome pseudo Spanish fly from the top, starts running wild with forearms, and then exploder into the Broton. Then gets Sheamus up, nails a jackknife for 2. The commentators didn't call it, but he's got to be trolling Goldberg here, right? There's no other reason to hit the jackknife.
No, he has to be. Yes, because they had a little internet thing, I think.
They did, and I feel like it was right around this time, and the announcers didn't even bring it up, so that was why I thought that this had to be really inside. So Riddle rolls in for a buckshot. Sheamus nails him with a brogue knee for a huge 2 count. Riddle then posts Sheamus, hits a German onto the apron, then hits a knee and a springboard dive from the second rope to the floor.
And Sheamus went for the white noise on top, and he slipped, and I thought they were both going to die when that happened. But
absolutely.
Yeah, thankfully, Sheamus held onto the rope. He ended up giving the white noise in the middle of the ring, and he went up to the top and hit a diving knee for 2. Finish had Riddle going for a springboard moonsault, and Sheamus nailed a brogue kick on him in midair. I loved this match. I thought that it was great. I was so happy to see Riddle lose. I would have gave it 42 stars if I could.
Yeah. I thought this freaking ruled. They pounded each other. I gave it 4.25. I thought it was great. Dave Meltzer gave it 4 stars. Riddle's mouth is busted the whole way open, and they showed that replay, and he ate that brogue kick to the mouth, dude.
Yes.
These two killed each other. I loved this. These 2 matches back to back, awesome.
Yes, it was an incredible match, but not as incredible as this next match. We have Apollo Crews and Big E for the Intercontinental Championship, and we saw the build to this on SmackDown. Apollo finding his Nigerian royalty roots. Big E does the stretcher job, and he makes his comeback. And this is a Nigerian drum fight. So,
yes, it is.
So this match is no countouts or DQs. Anything goes. And the only way to win is by pinfall or submission. So it's basically an Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, it is. Sure. So while he's going to sing Big E to the ring, there are literally drums all around the ring and a big gong. So we're told that there's no rules, no limitations, just a beating so loud it sounds like a drum. Immediately after, Graves says, this has nothing to do with percussion instruments, but they are all around the ring.
What is he doing? So the bell rings, they both duck out and they grab kendo sticks, and I wish they would have grabbed the drums just to shove it in Corey's face here. Right. They absolutely massacre each other with these kendo shots, and then Big E on the outside hits Apollo so hard that it hurt me.
Big E again!
That was so loud on that.
That was brutal, man. I couldn't believe the thing didn't shatter. Seriously, I thought that it was just going to splinter immediately.
Big E grabbed the giant gong, but Crews kicked it out of his hand and then just wailed on Big E with more kendo stick shots. Big E speared Apollo from the apron to the floor, and that had to suck. But literally not as bad as what any of those kendo shots were, because they were brutal.
Facts.
So Apollo hits a Death Valley driver onto the apron, and Apollo then tried to squish Big E like a bug with the ring steps, but thank God Big E moved.
Apollo took a Uranagi to the steps. I thought his shoulder exploded on this spot. Big E then sets up a table. Apollo ran in, starts smashing with the kendo stick again. And dude,
a vicious assault.
Kevin Dunn, I don't miss you.
Nope.
Like, I'm sorry, but I need a Dramamine watching this with all these weapon shots and all this. Just cut. Crews goes for a frog splash. Big E rolls out. Crews smashes through the table. Big E gets the big ending, and Commander Aziz rolls in, gives the Samoan spike to Big E. He even has his thumb wrapped.
Yes.
Dude, he comes out in full military garb, unannounced. We don't say who he is or what he's doing here. And I am dying.
Yes.
He rolls a pole onto Big E. These two had an awful match at Fastlane. I had the lowest expectations for this, and this was awesome.
Yes.
Until the absolutely ridiculous debut of Commander Aziz. He is a large mystery man in full military garb, dude. But you know what? I hate it, but I love it.
Yeah.
I'm giving this 3.5 stars. What say you, John?
I'm giving it 3.5, and I didn't hate the match. I actually really enjoyed it, and Dave gave it 3 stars as well. But we move into the Hall of Fame class of 2021. It is RVD, Molly Holly, the Great Khali, Ozzy Osbourne. Like, how does he fit into this?
He had a reality show.
We had Eric Bischoff and Kane. I would have died if Kane would have came out in like a regular suit and the mask, but he came out, no gimmicks. I was surprised.
Yeah, he's running for me mayor at about this time.
Yeah.
So it's time for the main event. We got Asuka versus Rhea, and this felt like a main event package, dude. This was awesome. The whole match build has been on Raw, so we didn't see it. And dude, this chick singing Rhea's song, like this performance was my brutality, is what this was. Like Rhea got into the ring. And then I just fast forward until this was done. Holy crap.
Visually, Rhea looked incredible, but this was such a bad performance. Like, this was like bad karaoke bad.
That being said, I do got to say, Asuka is so charismatic. Her dancing to the ring and then mouthing the ring announcer when they're announcing her is awesome. Rhea being blonde, tan, and not really tatted is really just a tough visual to get used to.
Yeah, I literally wrote the same thing in my notes because it was odd seeing her like this.
Right. And it's not that long ago. That's the craziest thing about this is it's only 4 years, but my God, what a difference 4 years makes. So the two start a million miles an hour, which is smart. It also made me think they weren't going to get a lot of time though. And they didn't. This ends up going about 13 minutes. Asuka's in control early. Rhea powders. Asuka throws her back in. Rhea cuts her off with a kick after Asuka misses a hip attack into the ropes. Rhea gets the heat on Asuka, so if she's not a heel, she is playing one in this match. Rhea then goes for the ripcord thrust kick. Asuka picks an ankle, rolls her into an ankle lock. Rhea powers up for a huge German. This was an awesome spot.
Yes.
Asuka then nails the huge missile drop kick. Starts an awesome comeback. German hip attack, back fist kick, another hip attack. Rhea cuts her off with the drop kick to the outside, nails Asuka face first into the apron, drops her off with the electric chair. Asuka then hits a DDT onto Rhea Ripley from the apron to the floor. Awesome spot.
Yes, and the near fall sequence at the end was great because it was different. Like, they traded big moves, submission holds and cradles, and then Asuka is blasting Rhea with kicks. She runs the ropes. Rhea gets up, hits the riptide. 1, 2, 3, and we have a new women's champion. And they legit made 2 new women stars on the show with Rhea and Bianca, and they're both on top of the card, like literally in present day as we speak.
Yeah, this worked.
Yes, and I thought that this match was incredibly physical. It was a perfect little appetizer to get us to the main event. It was really hard, though, to follow up what they did on night 1, but I gave this one 3.5 stars. So what did you give it?
To me, this was really good, especially the last few minutes. I gave it 4. We created a new superstar. We really did. It didn't have the pageantry and everything that Bianca did, but the long-term payoff, with hindsight, we know it was there.
Right.
Excellent match to me. So 4 stars was perfect. Dave gave it 3 3/4. We're all in the same ballpark there. So there we go. So our last thing before main event time, Hulk and Titus are out for one more time. They thank the fans. Bayley comes out, puts herself over, demands pyro, gets it, and the Bellas come out to lay her out, then dance with Hulk and Titus, and there is a lot of booing here. First for Hulk, and then because the tease here was Becky Lynch. They even put it out there. she was going to be like the hidden surprise, and instead we got the Bellas.
It is main event time. We have been working the whole way to this main event, and we're finally here. It's Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. And I thought that this package was incredible. Nothing can ever surpass WrestleMania 17, but this has to be a top 5 main event package of all time.
Really liked about this was that it started with the text of each man's name, and then it gave their story.
Yes.
And Roman's go home promo on SmackDown is going to be one of the most important WrestleMania main event promos of all time, because the way that he tied together what the story arc was from each of those two guys, and then put it into what his actual mission is, was great. And so the fact that they showed Edge winning the Rumble, his whole comeback thing, Bryan, I'm a dreamer, and then Edge being like, I ain't got time for dreams.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, this was perfect. It was so perfect. It tied together everybody's story into one, and that's what makes a great package.
Yeah, it was great stuff. So Daniel Bryan's out first. He gets the yes chance, and then, to my surprise, there is a huge pop for Edge's entrance.
Yes.
The big dog music hits, and we get boos, but so far, just for the music, I feel like these are conditioned reactions just on music, right?
Yes. And I thought that we were going to get the new music that you mentioned a few episodes ago from Dirt Sheet Beach, but this would have been the perfect time to debut it, but I totally get why they didn't.
Yeah. Like, if you want him booed, meaning Roman, then you better roll out the big dog music, right? Everybody's used to booing the big dog music. Yes. So Roman, Jay, and Paul actually come out, and when they do, there are definitely more cheers than boos. Roman has the gold gauntlet on. He raised the belt above his head. He gets all the pyro, and man, we say it all the time, but he looks great. He looks like a main eventer. Roman takes so long to get to the ring.
He does. It's only going to get longer.
Oh, yeah. He raises the belt again, and as he does so, he gets another pyro blast.
Edge is cheered when he's announced, and so is Bryan, but it doesn't feel as much as Edge. But one thing that I have to say about Edge's entrance is that it felt like a WrestleMania entrance. The way that they were panning around the stadium and the big fireworks, man, that was such a spectacle to see.
And he got a huge pop. Like, that helped too.
Yeah. So Roman is announced. There's a smattering of boos. It is officially go time. The bell rings, and Roman absolutely destroys DB with a forearm.
Edge and Roman then go at it. Roman gains the upper hand on him. Bryan comes in from behind, gets a few licks in on Roman. Roman then throws Daniel Bryan to the outside, and Jay immediately super kicks Bryan into oblivion. Roman then throws Edge out, and then Jay super kicks Edge. Roman's cleared off the announce table now, and this match is like 90 seconds old.
Yeah, like Roman is an absolute maniac to start. And this was interesting because leading up over the past few weeks, we were seeing Edge and Daniel Bryan outsmart Jay and Roman, and it didn't happen to start this match. Bryan then hits a dive to Roman, but Jay lays out Bryan with another super kick. Edge is back up. He throws Jay into the steps, and he is on a mission, and he starts ragdolling Roman between the apron and the dashboards, and then he posts Roman, and this is getting a really big reaction, and it immediately invalidated everything that I just said a few minutes ago. It's a game of runs.
It's a game of runs, man. That's the way life is. So Edge goes to the steps, hits an execution onto Jay, onto the steps. Literally everybody is down already.
Yeah.
The Geeks come out to carry Jay off, and then Bryan gets back into the ring. Edge slides in, and as he's doing so, Paul sprints away from Edge in the background, and that was awesome.
Bryan is playing the hits with kicks in the corner. He goes for a top rope Hurricane Rana, but Edge rolls through, and he gets 2 near falls. Roman is back onto the apron. He and Edge get tied up, and DB slides through both of their legs. He pulls Roman face first onto the apron and kills Edge with a missile drop kick. Daniel Bryan basically playing the modern version of the Ultimate Opportunist is a really cool layer to this match.
And we have plenty of them here, which is even better. Right. So the crowd is now totally getting up for this, and they don't have a choice, man. When the match has this pace, what else are you going to do? And the layout of this was brilliant, beautiful. So Bryan does his top rope backflip. runs the ropes with Edge, goes for a tope to Roman outside, but he clips his foot on the ropes. Roman catches him and then chucks him with a belly to belly. Back in the ring, Roman is getting the heat on Edge, and there are big boos. He goes for a Superman punch. Edge ducks out and hits him with another execution.
And Roman is back up. He hits Edge with a Superman punch, and then we get an awesome spot where both men go for the spear and they lay each other out after a shoulder-to-shoulder bump, and we get a "This is awesome" chant. Bryan runs back in. He hits a diving headbutt to Roman, and Roman kicks out at 2.
Bryan then hits the yes kicks to both men. There's a huge reaction for that. Roman ducks out of the final kick. Bryan hits Edge with a Psycho knee, nails Roman with that final kick to the head, gets another near fall. Bryan then grabs Roman's wrist. He starts kicking his head in, and then he locks in the yes lock right in the center of the ring.
And Paul is outside praying and pleading, and he starts pointing and playing quarterback, and
Roman's got nowhere to go. Bryan with the
Edge comes into the screen. He breaks it up, and I love that little spot. That was really good production there. And Bryan now has Edge in the yes lock. This time Roman comes in with forearms and just pounds Bryan to dust like he's done time and time again on this build.
Roman then powerbombs Bryan onto Edge, then tosses Bryan to the outside. Roman then very deliberately goes to pick Bryan up for a powerbomb position while he's standing on the steps. The
Bryan up. Bryan can't even stand Corey.
crowd then gives a Roman sucks chant, and Roman sells it.
Yes.
I love that because the whole insecurity thing is his undoing. And the fact that the crowd said it, plants or not, I don't even care. And
Right.
Roman selling it the way that he did really helped amplify that and call back to that. He power bombs Bryan through the announce table, and then Edge nails him with a spear off of the steps. And for the second time, we get "This is awesome" chance in this match.
Edge grabs a couple of chairs. Now Edge and Roman are playing tug of war over the chair, but the bar falls. Edge gets Roman into the crossface, and then he grabs the bar of the chair and he puts it in Roman's mouth.
Can Reigns survive? Can Roman hang on?
Roman is selling this so great. He raises his hand and he's about to tap, but Bryan rolls in and grabs his hand as he's going to tap. That was an incredible spot.
It was, and then Bryan puts Roman into a yes lock, and so now Bryan and Edge are battling who's going to tap Roman. Awesome drama here. They then turn and start hitting each other. Bryan snaps. He starts blasting Edge with headbutts. Edge is down, and now Bryan grabs his wrist and he kicks his head in. Bryan is striking up the yes chance. He runs at Edge for the Psycho knee, but Edge nails him with a spear.
Roman is now up, and Edge spears Roman. 1, 2, and Bryan pulls out Little Nate. And this match literally has all of the drama, and all of this makes sense. Nothing we're seeing is fodder for time. Everything is leading you to something building in the match, and whoever agented this match deserves all of this praise because this was incredible.
Absolutely. So Edge is now snapping. He throws 2 chairs into the ring, blasts Bryan with the third. He then throws Bryan into the ring. Edge is now just massacring everybody with chair shots. Both men are down. Edge lays the chairs under their heads, and he hits Bryan with the concerto. He's going for Roman, but Jay runs in.
Gives Jay a spear. He hits him with a half a dozen times with a chair. He then turns around and Roman nails him with a spear. Roman now lays Edge's head onto a chair. He gives him a concerto. He pulls Edge over. He stacks him like cordwood and he pins them both for the win. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. And my God, this was credible. This might be one of my favorite WrestleMania main events ever. I don't know about you, Mongoose, but this is my first 5-star rating in our Bloodline Rewind.
I thought this match was absolutely awesome. It is the best match that we've seen in 25 episodes of doing this.
Mhm.
Our timeline is about 17 months at this time, something like that. This is also the best WrestleMania match of Roman's career. He finally delivered on the biggest stage.
Mhm.
And because I've given 2 4.75 so far. If this is the best match I've seen, it's got to be 5. 5 for me, the new gold standard. Dave gave this 4.5 stars in the Observer. We will talk about the fallout of all this in the upcoming weeks, but brother, I thought that this was it.
And that brings us to the end of basically our first chapter here in the Bloodline Rewind. We are now on the road to WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. That was announced during this show. So next week, we are going to come back with the fallout of WrestleMania 37. We are 5 weeks away from Backlash. So we are going to do a little bit of a news show with all of the news fallout of WrestleMania. We're going to cover the fallout SmackDown WrestleMania, and then we're going to be back on our regular schedule here of honing in strictly on the Bloodline on SmackDown, and I cannot wait for it, man. This is an awesome end of the chapter. I can't wait to see where this road takes us now.
New challengers, new opponents, new matches, new members. This is going to get fun.
Yeah, if you are new here to the channel and you liked what you saw, please leave a comment below. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you hated about this show. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, share, tell all your buddies. And with that, I'm Johnny Bake Show.
I'm Teddy Mongoose.
And we just called it in the ring.